A tactful Foxian girl whose appearance, name, and identity have all been stolen. The fates have left her a thread of chance at survival. Yet the brand of destruction still writhes with anticipation. The one in a fugue who has experienced life and death and is given a new life. When would she be able to return home? Fugue is a 5-star fire element character that allows an ally to reduce toughness regardless of weakness type, and introduces a unique feature where all enemies in the field gain Exo-Toughness. She follows the nihility path. When entering battles with Fugue's technique, she will immediately advance herself forward by 40% and inflict her skill's defense reduction to all enemies in the field. Using her skill would designate one ally with Foxian Prayer. Then, Fugue enters the Torrid Scorch state, which lasts for 3 turns. The duration reduces by 1 at the start of Fugue's turn. The ally with Foxian Prayer has their break effect increased by 30%, and they would be able to reduce toughness regardless of weakness type. However, if they do not match the corresponding element weakness, their toughness damage is reduced by 50%. This cannot stack with similar effects. For example, Rappa's enhanced basic attacks can also ignore element weakness, but having Foxian Prayer won't allow them to deal 100% of their toughness damage. The same applies to Firefly's A2 trace. While in the Torrid Scorch state, Fugue enhances her basic attack into a blast attack. It would still reduce toughness on the main target by 10, but only 5 on the adjacent targets. This is similar to Jade's basic attack. Whenever the ally with Foxian Prayer attacks, Fugue will apply an 18% defense reduction for 2 turns on the attacked enemies, with 100% base chance. This can apply to AoE attacks, meaning an AoE damage dealer could instantly apply it to all enemies in the field. Characters that utilize follow-up attacks or extra actions could apply this on every instance of their attacks, which means the frequent debuff applications could synergize well with a character like Acheron. To ensure that the defense reduction does not get resisted, Fugue would need 67% effect hit rate. However, lower effect hit rate is totally fine if the ally with Foxian Prayer has high attack frequency. Fugue's ultimate would attack all enemies and completely ignore element weakness. This means that it would deal 20 toughness damage regardless of enemy weakness type. If it breaks the enemy, it would trigger the fire element's break effect. Finally, we have Fugue's talent. It introduces a completely unique feature called Cloud Flame Luster, which applies Exo-Toughness on all enemies in the field. When an enemy's initial toughness is reduced to 0, it can continue to be reduced with the Exo-Toughness being 40% of the original. Additionally, Fugue's talent allows all allies to deal 100% super break damage on broken enemies. Cloud Flame Luster follows a set of rules. When an enemy's initial toughness bar gets depleted, they would already suffer from broken state. You don't necessarily need to deplete the Exo-Toughness as well. This means that even if the enemy still has their Exo-Toughness remaining, the team can already start dealing super break damage. Both the initial toughness and Exo-Toughness would inflict weakness, break damage, and action delay. But only the initial toughness break would apply the element's weakness break effects. For example, you cannot stack 2 quantum entanglement by breaking the enemy with the quantum element twice. However, the extra action delay of quantum would still apply twice. If a character's toughness damage could go beyond the initial toughness bar, it would continue to deplete the Exo-Toughness as well. For example, if Boothill uses his enhanced basic attack on an enemy with 20 toughness while being buffed by Ruin Mei, his enhanced basic attack will shred through both the initial toughness and Exo-Toughness bars. If the enemy dies from all the damage dealt, then Boothill instantly gains 3 stacks of his talent. The Exo-Toughness replicates the enemy's toughness type. For example, if you deplete an elite enemy's Exo-Toughness, it would still count as breaking an elite enemy. For Himeko, this would instantly grant her 3 stacks and trigger her follow-up attack. For Rappa, this would yield her an extra 10 energy through her A2 trace. Other than that, here's some important things to note. Fugue's A2 trace provides a 6% break effect increase for 2 turns to all her allies whenever an enemy gets their weakness broken. If Fugue's break effect stat is 220% or higher, it goes from 6% to 18%. This effect can stack up to 2 times for a maximum of 36% break effect increase. Fugue's A4 trace increases her break effect by 30%. Additionally, it recovers 1 skill point after using her skill for the first time. The break effect stat increase only applies in battle, which means that if there are no other sources of break effect increase, you will need a total of 190% break effect on Fugue's character menu stats. This is to have 220% in battle and meet the A6 trace's requirements. Fugue's A6 trace additionally delays the action of enemies by 15% whenever an ally inflicts weakness breaks. This means that with the default 25% action delay from weakness breaks, you can delay their actions by 40% per weakness break. Another 40% with the Exo-Toughness breaks. Now let's talk about Fugue's Light Cone, Relics, and Planar sets. Nothing beats Fugue's signature Light Cone if she's going with a Super Break team. Long Road leads home. It increases her break effect to make the required amount of her A6 trace easier to reach. The break damage vulnerability instantly applies as soon as the enemy gets their weakness broken, unlike other Nihility Light Cones that require the wearer to attack. Best alternatives if we're looking to increase allies' damage would be Jiao Chu or Luca's Light Cone. Giving her the Cavalry set and a break effect rope would be the standard build. This allows Fugue to use her ultimate as a massive nuke when needed. For the Planner set, give her the Kalpani set due to its superior stats on a fire element character. Alternative would be Talia if Fugue isn't fighting enemies weak to the fire element. Aim for an effect hit rate body, speed boots, break effect rope, and extra survivability on the sphere like HP or defense. An alternative build would be to use 2-piece messenger and 2-piece sacerdotes. Along with Kalpani set, speed boots, and Fugue speed traces, this would put her at 159 speed, which is just 1 speed away from the 160 speed breakpoint. Get an extra 31 speed substats, and pair her with Ruin Mei. Then you'll have Fugue sitting at the 200 speed breakpoint. Unfortunately, Fugue has 130 energy capacity, making it hard for her to spam her ultimate unless you get her second Eidolon. This means you can go for the first build and maximize her ultimate nuke, or go for the second build so she could generate skill points faster. For those who wanted to learn how to use Fugue, that's pretty much it. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Stick around if you do want to learn more. Before we start talking about character synergy, let's talk about relic synergy first. If you kept your Good Thief relics, whether it is crit-focused or break-focused, congratulations. Thief set is one of the biggest winners with Fugue's introduction. Being able to break an enemy twice means 6 extra energy each. On AoE-focused content, this could allow your main damage dealer to have an almost infinite source of energy. I showcased this synergy by pairing Fugue with Double Thief Himeko and Herta. Link will be in the description. Forming Fugue's standard team is easy. You simply use Fugue herself, a super break damage dealer, a second support, and a break focus sustain. For the second support, there's Pella, Ruin Mei, Harmony Trailblazer, and Jiao Chu. In some cases, Asta, Silverwolf, and Guinefin could be good alternatives. For break focus sustain, we currently have Gallagher and Lingsha. Now let's talk about character-specific synergy. The biggest winners are Himeko, Boothill, Ruin Mei, Harmony Trailblazer, and Rappa. By default, these characters have a strong synergy with Exo-Toughness. Himeko gets stacks from weakness breaks to trigger her follow-up attacks. This is now doubled with Exo-Toughness. As mentioned earlier, Boothill can instantly get 3 pocket trick shots from just 1 enhanced basic attack on a trash mob. Ruin Mei deals high amounts of ice break damage through her ultimate's debuff and talent, which triggers twice with Fugue's Exo-Toughness. Not to mention, Ruin Mei's action delay from her ultimate's debuff, along with Fugue's extra action delay and Exo-Toughness, makes enemies almost unable to move. The ally with Foxian Prayer will now ignore element weakness type at 75% efficiency with Ruin Mei present. Harmony Trailblazer's talent regenerates 10 energy whenever an enemy gets their weakness broken. This is now doubled with Exo-Toughness. If equipped with the Dance 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 Light Cone, Harmony Trailblazer could keep the team constantly advancing forward. Rappa's talent provides her stacks whenever an enemy gets their weakness broken. These stacks increase the damage of Rappa's enhanced basic attacks significantly. Additionally, Rappa's A2 trace regenerates 10 energy whenever an elite level or higher enemy gets their weakness broken. Both of these effects are now doubled with Exo-Toughness. Obviously, any character that synergizes well with the Thief set would automatically synergize with Fugue's Exo-Toughness. For example, Serval, Herta, Argenti, and Lingsha. Some honorable mentions would be Shui and Acheron. Shui because there's now extra toughness to deplete, which gives her more stacks, allowing her to perform more follow-up attacks. Shui not depleting toughness also gives her a downtime on dealing damage, which is somehow alleviated by dealing super break damage. Acheron, because if Fugue's Foxian Prayer is applied on a character that has high attack frequency, that means more debuff applications. More debuff applications means more Crimson stacks for Acheron. Weakness breaks are also considered a debuff application, which is triggered as well by Exo-Toughness. Fugue's first Eidolon increases the weakness break efficiency of the ally with Foxian Prayer by 50%. This means that if the ally with Foxian Prayer is trying to brute force the weakness type, they would now deal 75% of their original toughness damage. With Ruin Mei in the field, that becomes 100%. Since the effect increases toughness damage, this automatically means that the ally with Foxian Prayer also has their super break damage increased. Fugue's second Eidolon provides 3 energy whenever an enemy gets their weakness broken. Additionally, advances the team forward by 24% after using her ultimate. To make use of this Eidolon the most, it is recommended to switch from Break Effect Rope to an Energy Regeneration Rope. Fugue's fourth Eidolon increases the break damage dealt of the ally with Foxian Prayer by 20%. This is a very unique multiplier since a damage percent buff to break damage didn't exist before. Now it does exist and will be a straight times 1.2 more damage. Note that it buffs both break and super break damage. Fugue's final Eidolon increases her own weakness break efficiency by 50%. Additionally, Foxian Prayer now applies to all allies as long as Fugue is in the Torrid Scorch state. This Eidolon is crazy due to the fact that all allies now gain all the benefits of Foxian Prayer and both Fugue's E1 and E2. Fugue's ultimate will now deal 40 toughness damage regardless of weakness type. Overall, Fugue is an extremely powerful support for super break teams and some niche setups. Should you try to pull Fugue if you get the chance? Yes. Super break teams is one of the favorites, and currently it is still one of the meta team setups. Fugue is simply one of the best options as a support for super break teams. Honestly, Exo-Toughness feels like a cheat in a lot of matchups. Combining Fugue and Ruin Mei also allows you to run no sustain and clear content effortlessly. We don't really know what the future holds, but it's not hard to see if we finally get a premium and limited version of Himeko, a character that greatly benefits from weakness breaks. Himeko is already so powerful with Exo-Toughness, now imagine if it's a limited character. After all, Ginaifen into Jiaochu and Clara into Yunli happened. When that time comes, having Fugue could be a game changer. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one.